Fareway values family, and we treat our employees and our customers like their family.
If you're looking for a place to shop, our service is amazing.
We have put an emphasis on hiring good people.
One of the things that we talk about is just doing the right thing.
And that is so key to this day and age.
Fareway just isn't about selling groceries. It's about taking care of people.
That, to me, is the best thing we can do at Fareway.
Parker McCullum. Burn It Down Tour 2024, June 27th, Wells Fargo Arena. ACM Best New Artist, Parker McCullum Live, with special guest Corey Kent. On sale now at IowaEventCenter.com. Parker McCullum Live.
Two guys, two Chris's, one network. Iowa Everywhere. It's time for Two Guys with Chris Williams and Chris Hassel. Presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery from the Channel Seed Studios. Where? Everywhere. Live and always on demand at Iowa Everywhere.
Hello, welcome to Two Guys here on Iowa Everywhere. It is Monday, the 24th of June. My name is Chris Williams. I'm joined as always by Chris Hassel. I'm in Bondurant. He is in Florida. Hassel's getting ready to go on vacation. We are in the Channel Seed Studios. Again, presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery. I was with a listener yesterday afternoon, neighbor. The God's honest truth. Sitting out there, and our kids are playing in the like one of them kiddie pools, you know? Mm-hmm. And my buddy goes, man, I can't wait to hear about Hassel's vacation. I go, why? What do you mean? He goes, they're always a shit show. He's going to come back and something extravagant's going to happen because I can't freaking wait. Like, this is going to be a disaster in some capacity.
Well, yeah, last year was the one where Dr. Oz reclined right into my crotch.
Oh, yeah. Dr. Oz was all up in your goodies.
So I over the weekend, we decided to watch like an older funny movie. Like we like movies from 20 years ago. That era had some really, really funny movies. You know, the era of Old School and all that.
Old School is the funniest movie of all time.
Because back then, like, they couldn't make movies, or I shouldn't say they couldn't. They don't make movies like that anymore because everybody's too scared of Van Woke people. The Van Wokes out there ruining it for everybody.
Canceled.
So we decided to watch Along Came Polly. And it just so happens, Along Came Polly, a lot of it takes place in St. Bart's, where we're going. That's where Ben Stiller's wife ends up hooking up with the Hank Azaria character, the scuba diving instructor, and ruins the whole marriage. So that's where we're going. St. Bart's. And I'll be staying away from the scuba instructors, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. Kristen's just going to fall in love.
Anyone for scuba?
I haven't seen that movie in a long... I don't remember. Is that the one where...
That's why we watched it.
I'm thinking of Something About Mary. Is Something About Mary the one where he has the semen and he uses it as his hair gel?
Yes. That's Something About... Along Came Polly is Jennifer Aniston. Philip Seymour Hoffman's in it. It's really good. It's kind of a forgotten good movie from that time because of the, you know,
there's so many other
the
good
old
ones.
Schools, the Wedding Crashers, the, you know, a little bit before that, the Something About Mary's.
Aiden is a huge movie guy. He's been staying at my house a little bit, and I was telling him last week, and you forget how old we are compared to a kid like Aiden, and Aiden is still a kid in my mind. He's like 22. I made the comment last week, and I am not a movie buff. Everybody who's listened to me for a long time knows this. Boy, Vince Vaughn had a hell of a 3-4 year run.
He really did.
Was he not like? I mean, one of the best 3-4 year runs, and then kind of just drops off. But man, oh god, he was good.
Speaker City.
Because I made Aiden watch 4 Christmases last week because he had never. And I think it's the funniest.
Last week you watched a Christmas movie in June.
That movie plays year round.
Come on.
It's hilarious. Robert Duvall is the redneck old man, is one of the great characters. Oh,
It's a good movie. We watch it over Christmas. We're not watching it in the middle of the summer. Sorry. I don't do that kind of shit. That's what really threw me off about. And in fact, that was like my downfall for the movie, not the movie, the show that Jason Sudeikis was on about soccer. And they had a Christmas episode like right in the middle of the year. Van Winks, is Williams frozen or is that me?
He just unfroze.
He
was mid eyebrow pick.
Jesus, Williams. I finally got the fiber-lax internet. So
Did you really?
I should be good. Yeah, it's in. It was a suppository for the house.
Oh, God.
Jesus Christ, Williams. You're a fucking mess today. I can't even understand what you're saying. You're all blurry. What is going on?
The Fox,
and Van Winks,
the Fox chewed up his fiber line.
We're also going to we're doing a double podcast day today.
Yeah, we put out a call to our great listeners to send us anything. We got a mailbag coming up that we're going to do for Thursday's show.
Because I'm going to be in St. Bart's. Yeah, you're kind of back. You look.
I think I'm back. I think I'm good to go now.
You look terrible. Are you okay?
You still there? Yeah, I'm good. Are you?
We're off to a great start.
Well,
we're having about as good of a day as Kaleb Brown is.
Oh, man. So what happened? He got arrested last night? Everybody's chiming in. Is that what happened?
Yeah, it sounds like in the wee hours of Sunday morning, which for him it probably would have been Saturday night. Allegedly, you always have to say that. OWI, and he had a fictitious license as well, which he's 20. I would say 90% of the people under the age of 21 in Iowa City probably have that. So I don't think that's a big deal. But the OWI and some of the details in the police report, spinning his tires allegedly in someone's yard, his car just kind of not wrecked to pieces, but had a wheel turned sideways and the front was damaged. It's not good, okay? It's not good for Iowa fans to wake up to this because he was one of the, I guess, tried and true weapons. Like you can snicker because he didn't do that much last year, but still he did a lot more than anybody else at that wide receiver position for the most part. And he's the Ohio State transfer that we did the emergency podcast about, expecting big things this season with a healthy Cade McNamara. And now this. Now, as Rob Howe pointed out, and others have as well, throughout history, usually an OWI charge only gets you a one-game suspension at Iowa. And if that's the case, it doesn't matter because Iowa's playing a slapdick to start the season. So he'd be back for the Iowa State game. But, depending on, has he been in the doghouse before? Has he, what are the details of this incident? Could it mean multiple game suspension? We don't know at this point, and we're not going to speculate on that, but just bad news for Iowa fans to wake up to today.
Other news from Iowa, which is good news, is that Cade McNamara is fully cleared. He told the Des Moines Register that on Sunday night at this charity softball game.
Well, yeah. Van Winks, were you at this game?
Yeah, I was there. Yep.
Okay, so Van Winks, he sends a message to the group chat talking about like the final score of the game, and Ostranga hit a couple home runs. So I said, shut the hell up. All I care about, I don't care. How did Cade McNamara look? That's all I care about.
He looked great. He played the hot corner. He was playing third base. He made some great plays over there. He was moving around, swinging it, running really well. Kid looked good. He looked good.
That's great to hear. I love it.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And from all accounts, what he was telling.
What's going on with Iowa State's? What's going on with Iowa State's softball problems?
Williams, are you
Why
drunk?
do they get their ass kicked in this game every year?
What? Can you even hear us? We're not even talking about Iowa State. We're talking about Cade McNamara and how good he looks. Is your internet so lagged?
This is not good. Maybe we won't be recording another episode today.
So I noticed, and William says he's going to unplug his router and start over. I noticed he's in a different place today. Like he might be back in his old.
He's back in the dungeon. He's back in the basement. So maybe that flooding, maybe it did some damage to the routers. But anyway,
Wick's out here breaking down Cade McNamara, looking good. You know, he's moving around out there. He's got the brace up. Williams comes in.
What's up with this Iowa State player? They don't even know how to play softball.
Yeah, they got creamed last year too. So this is 2 straight years. But yes, to answer your question, Cade McNamara looked really good out there, and from all accounts, from what he told the Gazette, I think was out there, the Register, he's looking good, he's feeling good, and he's been cleared. So good sign for Iowa.
Did you see him run? Was he running?
Yep. Everybody was running up and down the bases. He looked good. He was, seemed pretty normal. So
Did he cut? Did he cut and stick and move? Anything like that?
I'll tell you what, he made some amazing plays at third. And so it was funny because the Iowa team did not bring gloves. They forgot to bring gloves to the softball game. So they were using their bare. You could see he's not wearing a glove. They're warming up without any gloves on. So they were just
Did
using
they think it was Chicago 16-inch softball?
They were using these massive balls. I never seen
That's
softballs.
what it was.
Yeah, you see them down there. They were like oversized, squishy softballs.
So do you know about 16-inch softball?
No, tell me.
Okay. It is a game that I believe originated in Chicago. They play it a lot in Chicago. It's called Chicago 16-inch. I didn't know about it until I went to school at St. Ambrose. And instead of playing like regular softball in, it wasn't gym class, but I don't know, I had some recreation class. We played this 16-inch softball, and you don't use a glove. It's a huge ball, and you don't use a glove for it. And I don't know. I don't know why they do it in Chicago. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I'd rather, have a glove. But
yeah. Some of the guys were using gloves. But yeah, it was kind of funny because like they would get a hot shot at the corner and he would just snag it with his. I mean, the ball's big enough that you could grab it. It's not like a small squishy softball. So these guys were making great plays.
Williams, you hear that? Cade McNamara was killing it last night.
That's good. I'm more interested in what the hell's wrong with Iowa State's softball program.
I don't know. I don't know if a lot of these guys have played baseball or softball, but
this is a serious question. You're going to laugh. Does Iowa State have a softball team? I know they don't have a baseball team. They do have a softball
team now.
Pretty good.
They used to be really bad, but they got this new coach. He's got them going a little bit.
Pinkerton.
Yeah, they're not terrible like they used to be, but
no Iowa State player hit any home run. Iowa hit 5 and Iowa State hit 0. So.
Now, this has to count toward the Cy-Hawk, right? I mean, toward whatever that season-ending thing that everybody always plays up when Iowa State wins it.
Dallas Clark was out there.
You're such a douche hawk. That's such a douche hawk thing to say.
The only time I ever hear about, what is it called? It's not the Cy-Hawk Trophy because that's the football game. What is the
Cy-Hawk Series?
The Cy-Hawk Series. The only time I ever hear about that is like Iowa State sending out a release. We just clinched the Hy-Vee Cy-Hawk Series for the 5th time in the last 8 years. It's a cyclone state because we just won in gymnastics.
Why'd you go straight to your B.J. Shaban impression?
That wasn't B.J. Shaban.
That was like a mixture of B.J. Shaban and like old man yelling at
This
the
is
cloud
B.J.
rock.
Shaban with MC22. That's the B.J. Shaban.
Boy, I was looking at those pictures, though. That Dallas Clark is a good-looking man.
I got to talk to him for about 10
is
minutes.
ripped still.
He is a super nice guy and
great guy.
Just
I
shout
love
out to him
Dallas.
too because he emceed the whole thing. And just in all seriousness, it was for a great cause, Make-A-Wish Iowa. They raised a bunch of money, so it was really cool.
Did anybody ask him when you were around about the Iowa radio position? Because he was the number one guy that I think most people thought of. Like he would be a home run. Who knows if he would have an interest in that?
Yeah, I thought about asking him about it, but just talking with him, I was like, man, he's got such a good personality. He really would be great. So maybe
You
down
know
the
what
road.
the problem is here? This game, I just thought of it. This is Iowa's Super Bowl. Iowa State doesn't put nearly as much emphasis into this game as Iowa just cares so much more, and they're able
Iowa
to go
State
out there and
cared about this game as much as they cared about that bowl game they played in last year. They just didn't even show up.
Did you realize too that game? Matt, pull up the box score of that game. Bloom and I stumbled upon this like a couple weeks ago. I'm quite certain Rocco Beck set a Iowa State passing record for yards in a game in that loss to Memphis.
Yards in a game or yards in a bowl game?
In a game.
Really?
He almost threw for 500 yards in that football game. Isn't that crazy? Because when we think about that game, we think about how big of a disaster. Yeah, 446 yards in that game. I'm pretty sure it's an Iowa State record.
Look at the leading rusher for Iowa State was Abu Sama, 12 carries, 4 yards. So you weren't running it against that team.
And that's about 10 too many carries.
Oh, my God. Iowa State had a net of 0 rushing yards in that game. And didn't Memphis run all over you? What was Memphis's rush yard total? Scroll over there, Matthew.
It was a lot more than 0.
What did Oh, yeah. They had one guy go over 100, 166.
Yeah. Anyways. All right. So that was I'm
glad to see your So you had to go upstairs and
I reset my router and I had luck up here last week. I do think that my wires and stuff are all a little bit screwed up down there. I'm still just fighting through all this water in the basement, and we got the water out, but there's the infrastructure sucks now, so it's been a process.
Well,
hey, on that note,
I'm good to go with the FiberLax. So
I do want to give a shout out to everyone in Northwest Iowa. It's been
what is going on up there?
Oh my God,
Spencer!
Man, it's really bad. It's really bad. The whole Okoboji area, a lot of people with vacation homes in Okoboji have been flooded. It's been brutal. North Dakota or South Dakota, that area, like the southern Minnesota. The Spencer ones that's downtown Spencer. That's the main street right there. Isn't that incredible?
Jeez, that's terrible. And I was reading a little bit about this, and it's not an area that has really ever flooded. So from what I was reading, it's surmised that not many people have flood insurance, which would be a catastrophe.
Yeah, it's bad. So thinking of all those people, this Matt's been just taking photos everywhere. Were you at the Brock Purdy camp? Did you go out with your buddy? Did you go to camp on Saturday?
I did not make
his jersey and attend camp.
I didn't make it to camp, but I got to hang out with Brock at the alumni golf outing. That was pretty cool.
Wait, you didn't go to the camp? I thought you did.
No, I thought about just putting my jersey on and going out there with the kids, but no, I didn't get up there. It looked like a great crowd though. They had 700 kids signed up. Crazy.
I saw that picture of you with Brock. I guess I just assumed that was at the camp, but
no, that was at the.
There was a tent in your pants. That's for damn sure. The guy was fully erect, standing next to Brock Purdy.
It was pretty
cool. Did he understand the level of love you have for him? Did he get it? Did you portray that to him? How did that conversation go when you met Brock Purdy?
No, I didn't go full fanboy, but I did ask about if Brandon Ayuk was going to get a contract extension. So.
Well, you didn't, did you really?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I had to get the
What
scoop,
did he say?
You know. He said, "I hope
he probably was annoyed."
I don't think he was annoyed.
What did he say?
I was just chatting with him. He did a cool panel the other day with Steve Young and Alex Smith and Jeff Garcia, a couple 49ers greats. We were chopping it up about 49ers quarterbacks and how he's right up there, man. He's right up there. With
Van Winks was probably like, "Did you see that CBS poll? It only had you as the 8th ranked quarterback in the league. You're definitely top 2."
I thought about bringing that up. The disrespect.
It's bullshit, man.
Van Winks, you were like, I could see maybe putting Patrick Mahomes ahead of him.
Maybe.
And, I just there's no way that you could put Lamar Jackson ahead of Brock Purdy on this list. I don't see how you can do it.
Grant says, why does he have his own name on his shirt? Well, I'll tell you why. Because he's Brock motherfucking Purdy, Grant.
Damn right.
My guess is it says the
camp
Brock
t-shirt.
Purdy camp. Yeah.
It's the
I wonder
camp
what
T-shirt.
So I wasn't at the camp, but I wonder what they did with 700 kids on the little field.
I kind of heard it was a disaster.
Like what?
I've
How
had
do you-
a few people who were there, and for some reason they thought like I had something to do with it. I had a few pissed off patrons texting me.
It seems like you'd probably just like this. You get them in a group, you give them a little pep talk, and you just run around, and everybody gets to catch a ball.
That's all it's about. Nobody's going there to develop their football skills. You're going there to
get an autograph,
hang out with Brock Purdy.
Brock Purdy's there. It's an experience.
That's what I told these people. Like, what do you think? Like, you think that your kid's gonna get discovered at this camp?
Brock Purdy's gonna work on the kid's arm angle.
Yeah,
if you want to make it to the big leagues, Sonny, you got to work on your 3-step drop. I love how everybody goes to Williams when something happens with the Cyclones.
I know.
Like with
they're all just pissed off at me. Oh, I can't get beer at the George Strait concert. I couldn't get beer either.
What about when Cyclones TV launched?
Oh,
and it was a mess, and everyone was just all over Williams for it.
And Bloom was on the call, I think, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was Bloom and Sage. Were on the call. For the longest time, people didn't understand the difference between Cyclone Fanatic. So, like, in Cyclones TV, they knew that we weren't the athletic department, but for some reason, like, I would get emails from people pissed because they couldn't cancel their Cyclones TV subscription. And I'm like, I don't have anything to do with it. I'm sorry.
Hey, Van Wilk, pull up that picture with you and Brock again, because Adam is concerned that you are bigger than Brock Purdy.
Bigger, better bowler.
Van Winks is a big guy. What are you, 6'4"?
I'm almost 6. I'm 6'2", almost 6'3".
Okay, so really, I thought you were taller than that. You're definitely taller than me, and I'm about 6'2".
Mm-hmm.
Brock Purdy's not a big quarterback though. Like that was one of the knocks on him, is he's not big.
Is Adam saying I could be the next 49ers quarterback? Just
you could be the next 49ers
well, according
male
to Hassel's
cheerleader.
standards on quarterback, you'd fit in great. Like, remember the Rocco Beck, J.J. Cole thing? Oh, you got to play that guy.
That was about a year ago right now, wasn't it? Well, I mean,
was.
my God, they put those two side by side. That was ridiculous. Like, J.J. Cole looked like he was built in a factory. And then there's little old Rocco Beck, the little engine that could.
I will say this, spending a little time with Rocco this summer, dude has the biggest legs for a guy of some of the biggest
Bigger
legs.
than Purdy's legs?
Dude,
Purdy famously has huge legs.
Yeah, they both
And Van
do.
Winkle can tell you that.
Rocco was playing the outfield yesterday at this softball game. Dude can move out there.
Dude,
he was flying.
Wait, who is moving better, Rocco or Cade McNamara?
Rocco.
Oh, shit.
I hope.
Yeah, I know. That's understandable. Rocco's a mobile quarterback. I'm not looking for McNamara to be that
Do you
mobile.
want Cade McNamara playing in that game?
Oh, that game?
I mean, I get it. Like, show
here's
up and, like, support
Here's what
it.
I like about
do we want him out there?
I like that he's feeling that good. And the team is feeling that good about his recovery and about his future that they're fine with it. I'd be more worried if he was supposed to play in it and they yanked him. Not that we would ever hear that. But I like it. Let the guy live.
I wouldn't. I'd wrap him up.
Well, you can only coddle somebody so much, and then the first time he gets out there, he tries to rush for 8 yards and pulls his hamstring again.
The last time he did something for kids did not go well.
That's right. That was
tell you
Kids
this.
Day. Yeah.
When August hits and those workouts start,
oh God,
pucker up, Hawkeye fans, because you never know when that Dr. Men or Lysico tweet's going to hit. You just never know.
At least this year, they've got somebody with a pulse to back him up if that happens in Sullivan. Right? I mean, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not convinced that Sullivan isn't like.
Well,
I'm not saying better
you
than
have to be
McNamara,
convinced that Sullivan is better than Deacon Hill.
Absolutely. No,
Okay.
I'm saying I'm not convinced that Sullivan isn't a better option long term than McNamara. Like because he can move a little.
Sullivan
you know?
sounds like
I don't know.
He's probably going to be the
McNamara's-
starter next year.
McNamara has this pedigree where we've seen him, you're right, have that success at Michigan, but really ever since getting hurt that first time. But I don't really blame him for anything last year either because he was injured. And,
he was hurt. Yeah.
You know, I could have schemed against that offense, right? So let's see. Let's see what happens. College football note here. This is an interesting one. Brent Venables gets an extension at Oklahoma.
What is that all about?
Well, let's talk about this.
Okay. Because a year ago, the guy is on the hot seat.
Yep.
He's coming off his first year there. They were terrible. And everybody's wondering, geez, did they make a huge mistake with Venables? They had a bounce-back year. They weren't world beaters. Now they're going to the SEC where things get a lot tougher, and you're going to give this guy an extension and handcuff yourself even more as you head into the SEC, as things are becoming a lot more difficult for athletic departments. This one really surprised me.
Well, the only thing I can think of, so they basically hired him, from what I understand, talking to Oklahoma people, when they hired him, the whole thing was to prepare for the SEC, right? We know this. And I'm just wondering, Chris, if this isn't like I can't recruit if I'm a sitting duck type thing.
But he wasn't a sitting duck.
They gave him a raise, though. He's making
that's what I'm saying.
million. Yeah, like it's bizarre.
He wasn't a sitting duck. It's just all you're doing now is you're going to make it a lot harder on yourselves if you need to move on in a year or two.
Chris, I don't think that they're going to be that great in the SEC.
I don't either.
I don't think that they're going to be like the next Arkansas. Like, I don't think there's that big of a drop coming. But I also think that, like, Oklahoma consistently just has compared itself to Texas. And for the longest time, they had more success than Texas, right? Because they were in this great spot in the Big 12. They had Bob Stoops, this amazing coach. They're constantly, and then you bring in Riley, and you do so well at the quarterback position. And you were the best program in a okay league, right? And now you're going to be a middle-of-the-pack program in the best league without all the advantages that you had in the Big 12. Those are gone. And I've always said I think Texas will be a better SEC program than Oklahoma will. And then the Oklahoma fans go, oh, look at the last 15 years. I don't care. Texas has these built-in advantages that you guys don't have. And Texas always had culture problems, right? Well, the problem now for Oklahoma is your culture and all that stuff means a hell of a lot less when you go over there. Now it's about what can you buy. It's arms race more so than can I out Bob Stoops everybody.
I just got a text from my great friend John, who is a huge.
Is that
Arkansas
the guy who
fan.
put the Oreos?
No, that's not.
Oh.
That is not him. That was a neighbor that I grew up with.
Oh.
John's an Arkansas guy. And he says Williams needs to quit shitting on the Hogs. Does it all the time. Arkansas is a better program than Iowa State.
Oh, ooh. I love it when people say that to me. Oh, yeah, well, your team's never even won 9 games. I don't give a shit. That's not the point I'm making.
Here's
John.
why another reason why I think this is
John.
this is,
John's having a hard time because Arkansas is the type of program where they truly think that they're like on the level of Georgia. This is why I love the Cox. No,
they don't think that.
Hold on. Because the Cox are like, yeah, we're not there, but we're going to try and cheat. We're going to try and scrap and claw our way up there. Arkansas fans actually think that they belong on that level, and you don't. You've never done anything.
I don't think
John.
they think that they belong on the Georgia and Alabama level, but in his defense, Arkansas has done a lot more throughout their history than Iowa State has. But I do think they're in a really tough position right now in the SEC.
It's brutal.
With Oklahoma.
They'd be better off in the Big 12.
Back to Oklahoma for a second. One of the reasons I think this is a horrible move is because even if Venables does perform well, what does that look like? Because you perform well in the Big 12 and you're winning 11 games a year. You perform well in this new SEC, that's probably 9 wins a year. Are the fans going to be cognizant of that? Are they going to understand that? Or are they going to, when you go 8-4,
nope.
Are they going to say, get this guy out of town? Well, now what? Your hands are tied, and now you're spending even more money to get rid of him.
I know these Oklahoma people. They're not rational. They're just not. No, they're because this is the thing, and the Big Ten will experience this too. This could impact Iowa. It's certainly going to impact somebody there. It's like when you're playing more league games and you've got somebody has to suck.
Yes.
Not everybody in the NFL can have a winning record, right? Like math doesn't work that way. Somebody has to suck when you create the Big Ten. It's better because you've got all these perennially shitty programs. Like Indiana's always going to suck,
compared to you're talking about compared to the SEC. The Big Ten has shittier programs.
More so, yeah. Like you've got Rutgers is always going to suck in this new Big Ten.
Yeah, I mean you got Rutgers, you got Maryland, you got Indiana. I mean Northwestern has been shit.
Yeah, like you've got these lower that are more about academics. That.
The SEC has Vanderbilt,
but even the SEC's shitty programs really care about football.
You're right. You're right. They do. Yeah,
and they're going to just invest more. Is my point. So, if I'm Arkansas, is a great example, and I'm investing all these millions of dollars in football, and we care so much. It's our professional sport, and they have a great fan base. I'm just giving you shit, John. But these people are gonna get pissed. You can't go 3-9 every year and keep that. At least I don't think you can. And at some point, these fans are gonna be like, well, yeah, we're making $80 million in television revenue. Whoop-de-doo. Wouldn't Rutgers rather be in the Big East where they were headlining all those Thursday night games and going 12-0 under Greg Schiano? Wouldn't you? At some point.
The Big East is no more in football, so.
But you get my point, though, right?
Yes.
What if, and I don't necessarily think this will happen, what if Central Florida is just terrible in the Big 12 for the next 10 years, okay? Mm-hmm. Just making this, I don't think they will be. I think that they'll be fine. But, if you're a Central Florida diehard fan, would you rather do that and be like, well, at least we're in the Big 12? Or would you rather be going 10-2 every year in the American? I don't know. It's a fascinating
Knowing some Central Florida fans, I think they'd rather just be in the Big 12.
Really? It's fascinating.
I think they think they believe that they belong in these major conferences. In fact, they probably think that they should be jumping up to the SEC in a few years and get out of the Big 12 because the Big 12 is not good enough for them. They're very pretentious.
Yeah, I don't know. We had the same. I think we had the same opinion on Venables. It's just, it feels to me like an athletic director that's probably a little too in love with his hire. And then he's just not going to let it go.
Why do you have to do that? I mean, where's Venables going to go? No, who is knocking on the door to bring Venables in as a head coach?
Correct. We are presented by Fareway Meat and Grocery. We are in the Channel Seed studios. A lot of those Channel Seedsmen and Channel customers probably have flooded fields, so we are thinking about everybody up in Northwest Iowa. Mentioned that. Also presented by our friends at Game Day Men's Health with locations in Ankeny, West Des Moines, also over in North Liberty for you Eastern Iowa everywhere, listeners and viewers. Talked to a guy this weekend at a wedding, down 50 pounds since he started going to Game
How are
Day
you finding all these people? Every day
because
I talk
we
to
talk
you,
about
I
it, and then
I
these
just
people
ran into a guy, told me he lost 160 pounds in a week.
These people come up to me and they're like, "Hey, it's like a fraternity."
Listen,
hey,
I got to tell you,
T shot. You're getting the T shot in your ass. Me too. 50 pounds he's lost.
I'm hard 8 hours a day, thanks to you.
That's it. That's it. You really do have low T. Game Day Men's Health, they do have locations all over the country. So I know that we.
That's
serve
another
a lot
thing
of-
I've heard that we've 5 different states, something like that we've.
But these are still like family-owned franchises and stuff. So you're supporting a good local group here. My buddy Bill Morris, I appreciate him supporting what we're doing here on Iowa Everywhere. So get those appointments made. Free consultations. You go in, they'll do your blood work, and they'll check out and tell you exactly what you need. And they've got more than just the testosterone stuff there. There's a lot of different ways they can help you feel better. Let's move on, talk a little basketball here. The Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, part 9.
Do they play
happened.
every Sunday?
Oh, that's what I thought.
I swear this is 3 of the last 4 Sundays they've played.
I had no idea, and we're in this text group together with some friends, and I hadn't looked at my phone in like 2 hours. And I pull it up yesterday, and all you guys are texting about, and I'm like, wait a minute, is there a problem with my phone? Are these all coming up from like 2 weeks ago? They're playing again.
But
it was a
you're
good
not
game. So I
following
found out,
the
and
fever as much as I am.
Well, I'm not as into it as you are. I mean, I enjoy it, and I did go in and watch the fourth quarter of this game yesterday, and I'm glad I did. It was really the atmosphere was
great
awesome.
Game.
It was a really good basketball.
It was the first matchup in Chicago. Caitlin Clark said she was surprised they didn't put it at the United Center because that holds like 24,000 people, but they did, pack their arena, which I don't know what it holds, 10, 12,000 maybe. I want to say it's where DePaul plays. But, I mean, fans were into it, and Angel Reese was a beast.
Was that the best you ever seen her play?
By far the best I've ever
so
seen
too.
her play. College or pro. She was on a mission.
I almost put her as my triple B this week. I didn't. I backed off, but like she, I've always kind of had this like read that Angel liked being famous and then being a basketball player second, which is fine. A lot of celebrities and athletes are like that. Man, she's backing it up lately. Like, good on her.
She
like
really is. And the Rookie of the Year race is starting to narrow a little bit. I mean, a week ago it looked like Caitlin Clark was running away with it. And I think you poll people today, it's still Caitlin Clark. But that performance by Reese and then this guy getting the win as well, that was really impressive. I was really surprised they came back to win that game. I don't know what the Fever's lead was. They were up 14 or so in the fourth quarter. They had been playing great basketball. They were going to win their 5th game in a row. They were going to get it to 8-10. They were going to go 3-0 against Angel Reese in the Sky. And then things just kind of fell apart. Caitlin only took a couple of shots in the last 7 minutes. There's a lot of people blaming Sides, the head coach again, for not having the offense go more through Caitlin. But
will you people leave this woman alone?
She played all 40 minutes in that game.
Yeah.
The Iowa fans who are just constantly attacking this coach it's like I'm not questioning Caitlin's greatness. I think she's going to be phenomenal, right? Like everybody knows this. Like she got drafted by the worst team in the league. They clearly are lacking the talent that they need to compete at a high level. Like I bet they come around and make the playoffs. Most teams make the playoffs in that. Like
8 of the 12 teams make the playoffs.
Yeah, I think.
I don't know that Iowa fans, Caitlin Clark fans, thought that they were going to be a top 2 or 3 team in the league.
Did they really think that all of a sudden? Like, you're going to get Caitlin Clark, the Fever, and bam, snap our fingers, they're going to be a contender. Is that really what these people thought?
I think that most people thought. Most people thought that in those situations, late fourth quarter, everything was going to be going through Caitlin Clark, and she was going to touch the ball on every possession no matter what. That has not happened. Also, I think most people thought, watching the way Caitlin passes the ball, she's the best women's passer I've seen. And her connections with her teammates at Iowa, they thought it would be better than this. In fact, I think some people thought it would be even better than it was in college because there's more talent on the floor. But so many times we are seeing Caitlin Clark throw these amazing passes.
Yeah.
And her teammates can't.
That's because they're not very good. They're the worst team in the league.
Why could Molly Davis do it? Why could Monica Sonano do it? They're not in the WNBA.
Playing against pros.
What are you talking? I'm not saying they're even being guarded at times. It's a comedy of errors. Caitlin Clark threw a 50-foot pass to Kelsey Mitchell, and it was like you would see in a Hollywood movie making fun of how bad Iowa State is at playing softball. She puts her hands up, and the ball goes right through her hands, hits her right in the forehead, and bounds out of bounds. That's the stuff that's happening. It's not that she's making these passes and then they're getting blocked at the rim by good defense.
Again, though, Christopher, that the Fever aren't very good. This is like getting drafted by...
Come on. Kelsey Mitchell is a really good player.
That's fine, but compared to the rest of the league, they were the worst team in the league last year.
Well, they weren't the worst team in the league.
This isn't going to happen overnight.
They weren't. They were one of the worst teams. They ended up winning the lottery. I'm just telling you why Iowa fans are pissed. Caitlin Clark fans are pissed. At times. It's gotten better. This team has gotten a lot better.
Yeah, they've gotten a lot better. And Boston played pretty good yesterday. Where did that step-back three come from on the right wing?
Yeah, well, she had to do that out of necessity because the team, again, they weren't running the right offense or something, and she had to throw it up and it went in.
You know what they need? They need Lisa Bluter, and then the Fever just run the table. They'd never lose. Just go and win the championship. No, it's fun. I feel like anything with Caitlin, there's just very rare to find a rational take either way.
Well, I will say I'm not expecting to turn on ESPN today and just have it all be just this crazy, horrible diatribe about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark and all that.
No, it was a good game, man.
It might be who really is the rookie of the year. Maybe there'll be that as long as it's basketball related, great. But the last few times, pretty much every time they faced off, there's been something. Last time it was the flagrant foul on Reese. This time, it was a great basketball game, and Angel Reese was the best player on the floor. Caitlin Clark played great. But when it came down to it in the fourth quarter, in crunch time, Angel Reese was the best player on the floor, and she willed her team to victory. Got to give her credit for that.
And then Cardoso had 16. That was her career high. She was fighting those injuries, and she had a double-double, I want to say, as well. So, I mean, it's fun. It is a fun little addition to your June Sunday afternoon sports lineup when these games are going on. I haven't seen the ratings yet. I doubt they're out yet, but I guarantee a ton of people were watching that thing yesterday, especially with this heat wave going across the country. And, yeah, pretty cool. Let's do our Kelderman.
Bigger, better,
Powered by Kelderman Manufacturing.
What was that, Van Winks?
Got a new sounder. You want to hear it again?
Yes.
Play that.
Bigger, better,
Powered by Kelderman Manufacturing.
There'll be a special appearance every once in a while. I don't want to step on your thunder, but
I always try to cut Williams off as soon as he gets into it, and just. But you were pretty fast there. I think I'll start this because it's a good segue from what Williams just said about your summer viewing experience. I actually flipped it away from the Caitlin Clark Angel Reese game for a while because did you see all hell broke loose on the 72nd green at the Travelers Championship when these idiot protesters stormed the green? They were like climate people, oil people protesting oil. And
look at that
I
shot.
just love how these cops just let loose. There's this guy kind of tiptoeing.
That guy's an old linebacker.
He's lollygagging onto the green, trying to open up some sort of canister, and this cop comes up from behind him and just levels him face first into the turf. That was great. And then there's video of they're like dragging the protesters off the green and up through the crowd. And there's this protester. He's like kicking and screaming. He's trying to kick over flower pots. He's like, "Fuck you!" I love it. My triple B is that the Connecticut police that just would not be having this.
So I thought when you sent this over, and again, I wasn't watching this yesterday, I just assumed this was from a live golf event. When you said protesters, I'm like, these are anti-Saudi, like, you know, like whatever.
Saudi?
Whatever you got going on there. And then, like, I sit down to work on the show last night, and I'm like, oh, this was from the PGA event. This had nothing to do with the Saudis.
No, and it was a really good tournament too. Scotty Scheffler had a one-stroke lead going into this last hole, and the golfer that forced the playoff has slipped my name, slipped my head, but he ends up making a putt on that last hole to force a playoff. So there was like a lot of drama, and then there was this big stoppage because, like, what do you do? How do you clean this shit up? There was like powdery substances all over the green.
What was it?
I don't know. They had like smoke canisters, but they ended up. Tom Kim, thank you, Hawkeye, 11-1. Tom Kim was the golfer that made the putt to force the playoff. But they just putted through it, and then they recut the hole to replay 18, and Scotty Scheffler ended up winning in a playoff. But those people went on the green and just get taken out, and the fans start chanting, USA, USA. And there's all this vitriol. And this is Connecticut. Like, this is a very liberal blue state. But the reaction from the crowd was hilarious to see these police officers go out and just, can you imagine how great of a moment that must have been for those police officers? They're sitting there, they're waiting for something to happen. All they've done all day is kick out a couple of guys that got too drunk. And now you have these protesters that go onto the green and into the bunkers, and you just have clear rain, free shots on these people.
These how did the TV handle it? Did they show you what was going on?
At first, they tried to keep the cameras on like Scotty Scheffler and the players, and they didn't want to necessarily widen out and show everything that was going on. But they did go to some drone shots. But the best video was from fans that were recording it themselves.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think CBS showed, the old protester wobbling onto the green and just getting pounded from behind.
Boy, we haven't had a good streaker in a while, have we?
Well, we had that kid at the wasn't he wearing a Johnny Bench jersey and got tased at a baseball game a couple weeks ago? Williams, are you totally out of the loop? You're in turtle season and you're totally out of the loop with the real life. You're
Turtles
not watching
playing for a championship.
You're not watching Caitlin Clark. You're not watching golf.
Turtles
what the hell
playing
are you
for
doing?
a title tonight.
That's tonight.
Game is tonight at 6:00.
Okay.
Bondurant, Fields, if y'all want to come, wear your green. Everybody's welcome. Gonna have the girls out there taking BP at 5. Pretty focused right now. Not gonna lie. I opted. Tell me what you would have done. We had talked about having an extra practice this weekend. To prep for the we're 3-14 on the year, okay? Or 4-14 now. But I opted not to. I don't want to get in their heads.
That's a good call. You don't want to change things up. They're playing their best ball of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Don't overthink this.
I am going to take
How old are the girls? 5?
No, they're like 7 through 10. 7 through 9-ish. I am going to bring a giant boombox for warm-ups tonight. We're just going to listen to Tupac Hit 'Em Up on repeat.
I would play Kid Rock if I were you.
Ball with the ball, to bang, to bang. Oh, my God. Actually, that'd probably go over really well in Bondurant, if you know what I mean.
Sure.
I don't think many people would have a problem with it.
Unless Van Woke's there.
Other than Van Winkle. Hey, by the way, before I get to mine, what's this? You almost killed the fox last night? Like
Jesus Christ.
Van Winkle's tweeting about this. He's sending us text messages.
I saved an innocent dog from the fox.
How did you save the dog? Like, what in the world did you do?
So I'm driving home from the charity softball event, and I'm pulling down my street, and I see this little pup. I didn't see the fox at this point. All I see is the little pup just wandering around. I'm like, oh, it's a little lost dog. So I was gonna get out and see if I could, check the collar. And all of a sudden, I kid you not, this fox walks around the fence and just stares down the pup.
Is there any chance that they're friends?
Maybe. Because this is the same yard I saw this dog take a shit.
No, the fox.
The fox, thank you. Same yard I saw the fox take a shit like last week.
That dog doesn't look scared, and the dog, I bet that dog outweighs that fox.
Maybe. And some people are trying to tell me that this fox is innocent. It is innocent. Nothing to do with this dog, but I don't know. It was jumping around. It was licking its lips. I don't...
Judging from the pictures, it looks like the dog is pissed that you're there. The dog's just staring at you. So what did you end up doing?
It was a standoff. And I got out of my car. I got out of my car and I went, shoot, get out of here. And it ran away. It went behind the shed. The dog ran back inside. And
what was the dog doing out just wandering the streets?
I think they just kind of let the dog roam around the yard. So maybe the owners aren't concerned. Is that the dog that
viciously attacked you and you called the pound?
Not the same dog, but... No, I'm a hero, though. I'm waiting for my key to the city.
You guys are like Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. You just can't escape each other. You and this fucking fox.
I keep going back and forth on if I like this fox or not, but maybe I need to talk to this neighbor and see if the dog and the fox and the hound have become friends. Maybe it's a true love story that I'm interrupting.
Steve Kemp says it looks like Matt ruined their special moment.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Maybe I'm getting in the middle of something.
Can that even... Oh, did you see that link I sent you guys about the guy who's repeatedly had sex with the horses now? Did you see that?
I thought we talked... Did we not talk about this? Or
No, we never covered it.
Okay, I tweeted about it last week. I was more upset by the amount of headroom that they were giving this guy in his mugshot.
Oh.
But, yes, the guy, I don't know where he lives, but he's continuously having sex with horses. Now, I do wonder, is he getting on a ladder and, like, inserting himself into the horse, or is he getting on, like, all fours underneath the horse? I don't know. And why do you have a Band-Aid on your head?
Nick myself shaving.
Williams, you kind of look like this guy. Hey, Williams, frame yourself up like this guy with all that headroom, and you'll look just like him. There you are. You need a lot more headroom, though.
In a spray tan or
something. So I saw it because...
Yeah, I mean, he's got to be getting on a ladder.
WHO TV tweeted it out, but... This guy isn't in Iowa, right? Where's he at?
You know how
say? Texas?
These corporate media
Mm-hmm.
algorithm things, they just spit stuff out that they know will get clicks.
Williams, you got to put on an orange shirt and get.
I am not going to act or look like the guy who's allegedly committing bestiality one time after another.
The headline is incredible, though. Man arrested for having sex with horse again.
Yeah. ... Poor horse.
You got a triple B? You got a triple B?
Yeah, we're still in the middle of the triple B, fellas. We got to get going here.
I'm going to give mine. This is unique, but it's funny. I'm prepping for the show last night, and I find myself gravitated to NBA headlines. And you know what I think?
We didn't even talk about the NBA Finals at all.
I know, and this is my point. The offseason is here. My triple B goes to the NBA offseason. It's more interesting than the actual season and playoffs. I'm more into it.
The only way the offseason is going to be interesting is if there's some kind of major trade, because there aren't any huge free agents. I mean, I guess, LeBron is going to opt out of his contract, and more than likely he's going to re-sign with the Lakers, but, all hell could break loose and
Well, the Bronny thing's interesting, how that plays out.
Yeah. I'm more interested in seeing, because all we're talking about is like, are the Lakers going to draft Bronny? And could someone else draft Bronny? What I want to know is, when the Lakers do draft Bronny, what is this going to look like next year? Like, is he going to see meaningful minutes on the court with LeBron?
What a disaster. I would be so pissed if I was a Lakers fan and that happened.
I would
too. I don't feel like any of these NBA people are like fans of teams anymore. They just follow these players. So the LeBron people probably want this to happen. Am I wrong?
Well, I think now that he's with the Lakers, there are these, Laker fans. They are lifelong Laker fans no matter what, because they always have somebody like that, whether it's Shaq or Kobe.
That's true.
Now it's LeBron. I don't know. From everything I'm hearing, the Lakers are going to draft him with their second-round pick, and he's going to be on the team, and he's probably going to play in meaningful games, meaningful minutes next year, just because of LeBron.
I feel like it's going to make people hate him. I don't know if LeBron's doing his kid any favors here.
Yeah,
I honestly, I will, and I'm a
then
Jordan
what
guy,
happens?
But I've always liked LeBron.
What happens next year if LeBron wants to retire? As soon as LeBron retires, you have
nobody
no more
likes the guy who's
obligation.
born on third and thinks he hit a triple. Nobody likes that guy.
But Bronny might just be a guy that was born on third and just knows that he's there, didn't necessarily think he did hit a triple. He was just born on third.
People get jealous.
But I think people are going to be more mad at LeBron than his son if that's the case. But you're right. The hate is going to go to his son. I mean, if this is on the road, he's going to get jeered.
Yeah.
That is an interesting aspect of this draft.
I read one last night that intrigued me.
The draft is Wednesday. The first round is Wednesday. Did you know the second round is Thursday? And I want to say it's like during the day.
Really? That's
Look
news
that
this
up,
year.
Van Woke. I think that there's something going on. Oh, is it the presidential debate on Thursday night? So
that's Wednesday.
So the
night,
NBA, they want to do this
NFL
NFL thing where they have multiple nights of the NBA draft. And so they wanted the first round Wednesday night, the second round Thursday night. Well, then there's the presidential debate, and so they're like, shit, we got to get out of the way. So they're going to do it on Bronny's going to be drafted on like Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, the first round will take place June 26th, starting at 8 p.m. Eastern. The second round will ensue at 4 p.m. Eastern time, June 27th. So you're right. Afternoon.
So the second round is
Weird.
basically like Fran Fraschilla just talking about these European guys, basically. What it's been.
Guys that might get drafted and never even play with the team. I mean, we've seen that. Aaron White was drafted and never played in the NBA.
God, was it you?
Oh, God.
I know Zavolinsky.
Yes.
We used to have the great Aaron White debate where we'd all just fight about Aaron White at Cooney's.
Yes. And I said he was an NBA player, and I feel like I was right because he was drafted, but he decided, I think, to make more money, he could go to Europe and play. And he's had a good long career in Europe.
God, that was an annoying. You guys would not shut up about that for like 2 years.
You're right. Yes. Van Woke, what's your triple B?
You guys know me to be a big tennis fan, right? big tennis fan.
Didn't.
So there's a new number
Who's
one
this
ranked U.S. tennis player. His name's Tommy Paul. Did you hear about what he did over the weekend?
No, what did he do? That's a huge trophy, by the way.
Did he win Wimbledon?
That is a big trophy. No, he beat Italy's Lorenzo Musatini in the Queen's Club championship.
Matt can't even keep it together because the only reason he chose this as his Triple B
God
is
damn it.
because of this guy's smoke show girlfriend. He sent a picture of this. I thought this was like, you know how they do in, well, you're familiar with this being a racing guy, Williams.
I was gonna say, why isn't she with an F1 driver? Why is she with a tennis player? That was my first thought on this.
Wait for this photo. Like, what?
She's sitting on his
What is
lap.
this?
So she is now, I'm guessing, a lot more famous than he is.
Yeah, I think that's
What's
safe
this
to
guy's
assume.
name? Josh
What's her
Paul?
name? Just for our audience sake, what's
Tommy
this
Paul.
gal's
You
name?
guys don't know Tommy Paul?
I've never heard of Tommy Paul. I don't follow tennis at all.
The way
Girlfriend
she's
is
looking at him.
Paige Lorenzi.
Wait, is she Italian?
Lorenzi. Maybe. But good for Tommy.
It's kind of like that Livy Dunn deal and her boyfriend, right? Like he's this major league pitcher. He's like, future Cy Young winner.
He is actually a much, much better athlete and better at what he does than she is at gymnastics. Like,
But
I don't even
she's
think
way more
she's
famous
not even
than he
the
is.
best gymnast on her LSU team.
And
No,
Tommy
but
Paul is the new
she's so
number
much
one
more
ranked
famous than
U.S.
he is.
tennis player. So, good for
But
him.
I thought this was one of those, in racing, you win a trophy, or like sometimes it's in bicycling too. Is that what you call it? Cycling, bicycling. There's like they hire these super attractive models to like hand out the trophies. I thought that was this person.
I think what gave it away was that her hand is wrapped around his neck. Like,
I like that.
All right. Well, we got to get going because we got to record this other podcast for Thursday.
Yeah, so then Hassel can go on vacay. Hassel's leaving the country. He's getting the hell out of here. And hilarity will ensue. He is Chris Hassel. My name is Chris Williams. Maddie Van Winkle producing as always. We will be back on Thursday. It's going to be a mailbag edition. Probably not a lot of sports based on the look at the questions that I saw coming in.
I thought you weren't supposed to look at the questions.
I didn't memorize them. I just took a glance. Well, they were all tagged on my Twitter, so I was like,
it'll be a surprise.
seeing them.
Okay.
Hey, by the way, Parker McCollum's going to be at Wells Fargo Arena on Thursday. Get your tickets, HyVeeTix.com.
All right.
Sounds good. We'll be back on Thursday. Have a great week, everybody. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening here on Iowa.